So any questions from anyone related to implementation process, please? First, we'll understand the processes. After that, we'll discuss about documents. So related to implementation project process, any questions from anyone, please? Okay, fine. So let's see support process, support project process. And after discussing these processes, I'll take you through the documentation. Probably we can start with the documentation in the tomorrow session. So we'll see support project process. We take an example, the company called Wipro is doing the implementation for the XYZ INC. Wipro is doing implementation for XYZ INC. Once implementation is done, as per the contract, Wipro may support to XYZ INC maybe for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. That we call as post-implementation support. That we call as post-implementation support. After implementation, what are the support Wipro is going to provide to the client, that we call as post-implementation support. So after implementation, how many months Wipro has to support the client, that also they include in the contract itself, implementation contract itself. Once implementation is done, again, the client may continue the same company for support, or else they may award the project for other company for support purpose. If most of the scenarios, they'll just find another company and they'll give the support, and few cases they'll continue with the same company. So the XYZ company may continue with Wipro to take the support, or else the support they can give to other company. So when they give the other company, they'll have annual maintenance contract, AMC. Okay, so there'll be AMC, annual maintenance contract. Say for example, XYZ AMC company is giving contract to Infosys. So between XYZ AMC company and Infosys, there will be contract. So that is the annual maintenance contract. Sometimes they'll give that contract, support contract for 1 year or else 2 years, and more than 2 years also. That totally depends. So now what? Here I'm taking client or customer is XYZ INC. This is the example we took. For this client or customer XYZ INC, the implementation partner. Implementation partner is Wipro. Now implementation is done. Now XYZ INC is awarding this support project to Infosys. Okay. So now the support partner is Infosys. Now what we have to do here, as when client is awarding this support project to Infosys, what we have to do is the Wipro team. Okay, Wipro team should provide KT to Infosys team, okay, who implemented this applications for XYZ INC. The Wipro team should provide the KT to Infosys team. Okay, KT. knowledge transfer. So because the implementation is done by Wipro team, and now client is giving that same project to Infosys to provide the support. Infosys team, again Infosys will form a team for support project. Okay. Say for example, for implementation team is 10 and support maybe 5 or 6 members would be enough. Okay. So sorry, maybe 6. Okay. Team size is 6. The implementation team size is 10 members. So less than that, you can have a support team. Now, a pro team has to provide the KT to Infosys, saying that the payables, for example, in the payables, so these are the functionalities we implemented, and we integrated payables with the source of application for data inflow or data outflow. And in each and every application, they have to explain how they did the implementation. Means what is the enterprise structure they finalized, how many business units, how many primary ledgers, how many legal entities, how many inventory organizations. The knowledge they have to share with them, because Infosys is very new to this project. That is the reason Wipro team has to provide the KT to Infosys team. This happens in every project. Not only in the support project, KT takes place in the implementation projects also. Say for example, here we discussed implementation team will start working on this project, say after some time. Okay, say for example, just we started with all these activities. So CRP is completed. Now one consultant is leaving from the project. Okay, the consultant is leaving from the project. One consultant is going to quit from the project. And in that consultant place, we may take one more consultant. For example, the finance consultant who is working for this implementation project, if implementation duration is say 8 months, after maybe 5 months or 6 months, the consultant is quitting from the project. When new consultant is coming into that project, the old consultant has to provide the KT to the new consultant, saying that, so as a part of this implementation, so we had a kickoff meeting and we discussed with the client and we captured their current business process. And this is the document we prepared and we did the requirement mapping. And these are the gaps we identified. These are the functional specs we prepared. And we identified these are the customizations need to be done. This is how we finalize the 2B process. And we prepared the test instance. These are the documents we prepared, the configuration document. And we did the testing also. These are the test scripts we prepared. And we conducted 3 CRPs. And we almost finalized everything. Client accepted. Now the next step is we have to conduct the UAT for the users. So this is along with that, what is the enterprise structure they finalized, how many business units, how many primary ledger, legal entities, the complete knowledge, whatever the consultant gained knowledge about the client business and the implementation activities, whatever happened, they all need to be shared with the new consultant. Along with that, what are the documents are prepared by the consultant or what are the documents they received from the client about the business, all the information they have to share with the new consultant, that we call as KT. KT means knowledge transfer. And anybody enter into new project, any project which is ongoing project, I mean like it's, if it is from beginning, okay, no KTs and all, you will just start with the kickoff and all. So apart from that, fresh implementations, if you are going to enter into any project which is in the already progress, it could be implementation or support, we have to get the KT from existing consultant. Okay, from existing consultant, we have to get the KT. So, and the KT maybe ideally, generally what happens is you are in the client side and the consultant also in the client side. They'll plan like KT maybe for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. Or sometimes some consultants, what they'll do is they may not be interested to give the KT. Simply just they'll title it as a yes, I'll provide the KT. We'll talk to, they talk to them. They talk to us saying that, okay, we just did all these implementations and there are no challenges. It's very simple. We created 4 business units and nothing. So if you have any doubts, you can keep in touch with me. There is nothing much which I can share with you. This is how they try to play the game. But only we have to be very strong in that point to get the KT for them to understand what you have to understand about the business. We have to ask the questions and we have to get. Most of the scenarios when you talk about KT, so the people may not show interest to provide the KT. I means knowledge about the client, what implementation processes they executed or what they did. And when it comes to support also, people may not be interested to provide the KT, but we have to focus. We are entering into the project, we have to focus on that points, what information we have to understand. Accordingly, we have to ask and we have to get the information. Sometimes when we are getting into the project, it could be implementation or support. So they don't provide KT also. Then we have to talk to the project manager. Okay, say you are entering into implementation project. So you have to just ask the, like, ideally there should be KT, and sometimes you never come across with the KT activity knowledge transfer. In that case, we have to talk to the project manager. You have to request them to provide the KT so that they'll talk to the consultants and all. In some scenarios, what happens is by the time we join in that project, the previous consultant may not be available. So they say, so, okay, the consultant is already left and you can start working on it. If you have any queries, please let us know. But still our focus should be getting the KT. Yes, the consultant may not be available in the project. The consultant might have moved to other project or other company, but still we have to talk to the project manager. So we need KT so that they can, even they left from the company also, they can arrange the call with their contacts. Okay. And at least for certain time, like maybe over the phone discussion, you try to get the KT. That's very, very important so that your job will become easy. Sometimes they'll try to play the game like KT is not required. This is not a such kind of a complex project. It's a simple process. So any information you can ask so and so other person. This is how they'll try to convey. But you should not get convinced and you should request for KT. The consultant who worked in that project before you try to get the KT so that that person can give you the proper inputs about that project, the challenges and issues, with whom to deal, how the client team, who is supporting, who is not supporting, why the person is left, all the information will come to know, so that you take all those points. Based on that, you can start your journey in that project. So that means KT is very, very important. That is a point you have to understand. That could be implementation project or support project. If implementation project means if you are joining the implementation project in between or else in the middle, or after starting and doing some activities by other consultant, if you are joining, the KT is required. Or else every support project, definitely KT is required. That means implementation is done by other company and you are going to work on that project to support. You have to get the KT and they provide the documents also. As a part of KT, they provide the knowledge about that client, what they implemented, how they implemented, all the different scenarios, what are the business scenarios they implemented in each and every application. They talk about it, and what are the legacy systems client is using, from which systems data will come to financials applications, other applications, everything they'll discuss. Along with that, they provide the documentation also to understand about the client, what are the documents are prepared as a part of implementation. Those documents also we get as a part of support project. By going through the documents, you can understand more detailed level. What setups are done, what are the features are implemented, what is the to be document for the client. and what are the customization documents are prepared accordingly, what are the customizations are done. So one way we'll have a discussion with the consultant to get the KT. Another way we get the documentation also related to that same project. So that's how you can get ready with that information to support that client. So any questions on this point, please? So what information we can have in the AMC, annual maintenance contract, and all we'll discuss. The relevant points we'll discuss. For now, the related to KT, any questions from anyone, please?
There is any checklist where we can tick this will done, this is pending, like that.
Checklist is not like, see, simple, like there won't be some predefined or standard checklist. So it's all about like our knowledge. When you are working as a consultant, in which areas you should focus, accordingly you can ask the questions. They will walk through the certain points what we have to understand. Otherwise you can ask them application wise. Okay, it's like you have to come up with your own questions. Say for example, I'm going to take the KT from consultant. My responsibility is going to be the project and financials. Now I can pose the questions like this. First, I may start with the payables. So how you implemented the payables? Okay, any customizations are done? Any integrations are available with the payables application, with the third-party application? These are the questions I'll ask. So any integrations, I may ask that first question. So the consultant may say, so we didn't do any integration with the payables. Ideally, data comes to the payables from the purchasing application. No third-party applications are integrated with the payables. My next question could be, first we have to allow the consultant to speak out. If the consultant is providing the enough and detailed information, that's okay. Otherwise, you can start asking the questions. Any customizations are done in the payables? They can respond saying that we didn't do any functional related customizations since it's a SaaS implementation. We did a few reports customizations. Then you can ask the questions. What are those reports? Can you provide that report related information? Can you provide the functional spec document for that? Then the consultant will just inform you that all the documents are there in the project repository. Okay, or else all the documents are available in the so shared drive, and you can access from there. You can talk to the project manager. They'll convey, or else they will provide the documents. In the payables, these are the 3 reports are customized, and customization should be done by technical team. But what purpose those are customized, you can go through the documents and you can see. If you ask the question why you did the customizations, mostly they don't respond. So by seeing document, you can understand. So but you can ask them, okay, what are the reasons you did that reports customization? So somebody posted, do you provide any material? I'll try to provide some documents which I can share with everyone. I'll see that. Okay, first let's talk about this process. Okay, so you may get that documents from the client consultant for what reasons, what reports are customized. And along with that, you can talk to that client, what are the features are implemented. In payables, we discussed many topics, but when it comes to implementation, client may not use those many concepts. You can talk to them, what are the features are implemented for that client. Say, for example, in payables, we have 30 concepts. The implementation might be done maybe only for 10 or 15 only. That you can talk to that consultant who is providing the data, they will help us. The same way, like you can move to receivables. What are the concepts are implemented for receivables? Any customizations are done in the receivables? Any integrations are done with the receivables? Are we getting the data into receivables from any third-party applications? Are we sending the data to any third-party application from receivables? Could be inflow or outflow. It could be inflow or outflow that we have to discuss and we have to understand. The same way you can ask one by one application. Okay, one by one application. That's how you can get the complete knowledge about the project. Along with that, definitely you have to talk to the consultants. What is the enterprise structure you finalized and you implemented for this client, so that you will aware, like, and again, for how many countries the implementation is done. Okay, each country, how many business units and all those points you can discuss. That's how you can gain the knowledge about the project. Any other questions here, please?
Sir, AMC is not in our scope, right? The consultant scope, right? So
we don't do that. That is in between. So if you take example here, Wipro, I mean Wipro and XYZ, that is as a part of implementation, that contract would be different. Now XYZ client is giving the project to Infosys for support. That means this AMC between XYZ AMC and Infosys company. But we have to take few points from AMC. That is the reason I'm addressing what points we have to take. I will explain. We no need to get into that. Okay, you don't need to write anything in that. You don't need to prepare it. That is done by company only or consulting company. Okay. So any other questions here, please? Okay, no questions. Fine. So done. So here, anywhere we discussed about yeah. Fine, here we discussed about functional technical DBA related roles. Okay. Already we just discussed as a part of implementation, the customization related reports, the pages and integrations and data conversions and the personalizations and format definitions, all should be done by technical consultants. And when it comes to DBA, so they do the installations and they do the patching, cloning, maintenance. Now we'll come to know what is the cloning, patching, okay, and all those activities. When we talk about functional consultant, we discussed all the parts. Here, very high level, I given like understanding the business, designing the solution, doing the implementation, training and documentation. Those points only we discussed very detailed level. Okay, this is a detailed process where functional consultant can involve. So when you talk about support, okay, as a consultant, you are part of that project. So you got like a KT from the team, okay, who implemented. From that you get the KT, or else your team only implemented, you are providing the support, no KT is required. You know everything about that client, how you implemented, no KT is required. So implementation team is going to be different from support team. Definitely implementation team should provide the KT to support team. And in some implementations you come across, they don't prepare any documents also. That is a bad practice, very bad practice. When you get into some projects, you come to know the implementation is done, no documentation is available. So that is really not a good practice, but sometimes it happens in some implementations. If you are doing the implementation for US clients and Indian clients, mostly they follow the very standard process, documents and document preparation and all. Sometimes if you are working for Middle East clients, you may not find some documents are prepared as a part of the implementation. Simply the implementation can be done. They take the requirement, they do the setups, they implement, and client will start using. And you sometimes you may not find they are following the best practice. Okay. So sometimes you come across when you ask for some documentation. So what are the documents are available related to this project? They may say no documents are available. Means that is true also. You don't need to get surprised by listening that words. Some projects it happens, who are implementing, who is the client, depending on that. If they are not following the best practice of capturing everything into documentation, when you are getting into that support project or implementation project also, you don't see any documentation. Okay, but that is not recommended at all. Sometimes we come across, basically for US and other clients. Mostly I have seen for a few Middle East clients, there are no documentation for the implementation. Okay, simply somebody did and they started using. After some time, they stopped using that applications also. Those are the different stories. We'll discuss those points also. I'll just cover what kind of scenarios we may come across when you are working. Fine. And here, in the KT, we get the knowledge. Then we'll start working on the project. So when you are part of that project, so first of all, you are aware of how that implement is done, how many business units and everything, what are the functionalities. You got the KT from the previous consultant, and you got some documentations also related to that project. By going through that, you can understand thoroughly. So when you part of support project, the support purpose, say this company, Infosys is going to support for XYZ company. Now this Wipro is no more. They are part of this implementation project. Okay, they are part of implementation project. Now you don't need to focus on Wipro team and all. Okay, they are not part of this deal. Now the deal between XYZ and say client and the supporting partner Infosys. Now Infosys team will maintain some tools. They'll maintain some tools. What purpose they maintain the tools? So support means the client will start, XYZ INC company will start using these applications, Fusion applications. They'll start recording the transactions in the production instance. Okay, production instance, once support will start, the client will start working on the production on. Already we discussed go live. Go live means the client will start using. Once they start using, till that they will get stabilized, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 more months, the same implementation team can support. Sometimes maybe 1 week and 10 days also. Okay, after implementation, the implementation team may support for 1 week or 2 weeks for the client. That totally depends on how they have a contract signing. Based on that, the post implementation support takes place. And when it comes to support project, so the Infosys team will maintain some tools. Okay, Infosys team will maintain some tools, or else sometimes if not Infosys, XYZ INC company only will maintain some tools. It depends. Sometimes that support partner can maintain the tools, or client itself will maintain the tools. Ultimately, as a part of support project, you will find some tools. The tools purpose is to track the issues. To track issues, or you can call as tickets. Issues are tickets. So when we are part of implement support project, what would be our responsibility? As a part of implementation project, what is our responsibility discussed? As a functional consultant, what is our responsibility we discussed? And these are the areas where technical people will involve. Okay, and these are the areas where DBS can involve. But when it comes to cloud installations and all, we don't need to worry about it. That Oracle team will take care of. And in case of cloud and data conversions can be done by functional people only. Okay, technical people no need to do. If it is on-premise instance, is all, I mean, if it is a cloud applications, the functional people can do the data conversions. Already we have seen our classes how to load the suppliers data, how to load the customers data, how to load the payables, transactions data, receivables, auto invoice data, assets data, everything we have seen. That's how we perform the data conversions. That we call as the data conversions. Data conversion means moving the data from legacy system to Fusion applications, we call as data conversions. If it is EBS, the data conversion should be done by technical team. In case of cloud, data conversions can be done by functional consultant only. Okay, so this data conversions can be done by functional consultant in case of cloud. Okay, so here you can remove this point. And installations, product installations can be done by DBA in case of on-premise. If it is a cloud, the installations, you don't need to worry about it. You will get an instance with installation only, with installed applications that will be done by Oracle Cloud DBA team. Okay, so in case of Fusion, so installation you don't need to worry about. Only we need DBA for these purposes from Oracle side. Yep. So that's what we have to understand. Now, as a part of support, what would be the responsibility of functional consultant and the technical consultants and DBA will see that. Okay, as a part of support project, functional. Okay, functional, technical, and DBA. Remember, when you talk about DBA in case of cloud, DBA always from Oracle side only. Not DBA is not part of our team. The part of team, we can have a functional, technical, we may have a project manager. As a part of functional consultant, the support project, what would be our role? So you are working as a finance functional consultant. What would be your roles and the responsibilities? You have to resolve tickets or call it as issues. You have to resolve the tickets, daily base, whatever the issues you get from the business users. Okay, we'll be working on the system. One system will go live, client will start working on the system. So who are working on the system, if you take example of payables, they'll start creating the invoices, they'll start creating the payments, they'll start running the reports. So these all are done by accountants who are part of payables department. The accountants will start working on the system. Those accountants only we call as end users. So end users will start working on the system, and other than end users, you can have a like super users or key users. End users and super users are key users. End users are the users who will be working on the system just to create the transactions. Yes, super users or key users means you can call the accounts payables manager as a super user, or the person who is very much experienced in the payables process, that user you can call as, that employee you can call as super user. So that is a meaning what we have to understand in between end users and super users. Super users means some senior users like who are working as a team leads or managers in the specific business process or in the department. End users are purely just accountants whose responsibility is creating the transaction in the system. So ideally, the super users, key users may not involve in the recording the transactions. End users always creates the transactions in the system. If they are working for payables, they create invoices by matching with the PO and the receipts, and they'll make the payments as per due date. They'll run the reports. They'll look into other activities, what needs to be done in the system based on the real business process, what they are doing. If we talk about receivables, the end user is responsible to import the invoices based on the sales orders. Okay, they don't create the sales invoices in the receivables application. They always create the auto invoices based on the sales orders, and whenever they get the payment from the customers, they'll create the receipts, they'll apply, and what are the other scenarios they are dealing as a part of receivables department, they'll record those transactions, the receivables, and they'll run the reports. So that's how they'll communicate within the department or across the departments. That would be the job of end users. When they are working on that system, they may face some issues. They may face some issues. Say, for example, the end user who is working on the payables application, the user is not able to validate the invoice. Okay, they have created invoice and they're trying to submit for validation. Validation is not happening. And the end users who are working on the system, they will have access to transaction creation. They never get access to setup part. Okay, they never get access to setup part like common options or invoice options and the payment options. Okay, those that access only consultant can have. If you are going to work as a support consultant for any support project, you can have access to everything in that support project. And again here, we talk about instances. In case of support, it totally depends. One is best instance, other one is prod instance. In some projects, the client doesn't allow us to touch the production instance. They don't give access to production instance. They'll give the access to only test instance. Okay. So any issues and all how we manage we'll discuss, but remember this point. In some projects, some clients will allow us to have access to their production instance also. Some clients, what they do is production means very sensitive data, the real-time data. We don't allow the consultants to have access to production. So that's how they don't allow us to access the production instance in case of support problem. It is implementation, definitely they have to allow us so that we can do the implementation. Production we can keep ready with all the setups. If it is a support project, some clients doesn't allow us to production instance, we'll have access to only test instance. So when we get issues, how we can deal with that instance issues we will discuss. But when clients are working on the production instance, when end users are working on the production instance, they may face some issues. Take simple example. One user is creating invoice and they're trying to validate the invoice. The validation is not happening. Then what we have to do is the company will use certain tools. Okay, they use some tools to track the issues or tickets. So in the tool, they log the ticket. The end user, okay, end users, consultants, and project manager can have access to those tools. So the tools, mostly you can see the different tools they use. Okay, they choose like what tool they want to use, and the other side comes the support partners or consulting companies can suggest what tools are best to use. Mostly you see the tool names like, so the tool name called as Remedy. Okay, so to track the tickets, they may use the Remedy tool, or you can say Clarify, or it could be any other tools. Okay, ticket management tools they can use. So the few tools names you can take like Remedy, Clarify. Okay, this is how the tools, many tools are available in the market. So they just pick that tool, which tool they want to use to manage the tickets. So say for example, the client is using the tool called as Remedy. When they're using the Remedy tool, if they get some issues, they log the issue in the tool. They log the issue in the tool. So for example, the Remedy tool they are using for as issue tracking tool. Okay, issue tracking tool. Now, say one end user got issue, that issue is the user is not able to validate the invoice. Then they have to log the issue in this tool, Remedy tool. The end user will log into this Remedy tool, and they will provide the, they'll provide the issue related description. So how they log the ticket in the tool, they'll provide the title. How they'll create the ticket, how they create the issue in the tool. I'm going to explain here. They'll provide the title. The title is not able to validate AB invoice. So that's how they'll give the title. In the tool, they can select application as tables. Okay, it totally depends on the tool. What are the fields, what are the information exactly how to provide. I'm just explaining very generic way. So generally what information we provide and users will provide when they record the issue. And process, when we talk about process, okay, the process they may talk about invoice creation process. And the description. They may provide a description, created invoice, okay, with all details. And when I'm trying to validate, system is not allowing, okay, system is not allowing to validate, and it is not showing any error message. Please do needful. That's how user can track, user can write the issue description. Or else say, for example, it is showing some error message. Okay. It is showing some error message. In that case, they will attach the screenshots. There will be attachments. The tool itself, there will be attachments when they are creating the ticket. This you can call as ticket creation process. They take the snapshot, screenshot, and they will add the attachments. They'll take the screenshot, the error related screenshot, or whatever the issue they have, whatever they are facing. If they can show with some screenshot, they will attach it. Again, they will give the priority. Okay, priority of the issue ticket. So ideally, when we have a AMC, annual maintenance contract, okay, within that there will be contract duration. Okay, for how much period we are going to have a contract with the client. That information we can have in that. Again, in the AMC itself. Okay, so what are the applications we are going to provide the support, and how many consultants are going to work in that support, the project. There's all information you can have. So along with that AMC, annual maintenance contract, there will be let me move this data. So there will be SLA. Oh. So already we discussed what is the meaning of SLA, sub-ledger accounting. Here it is not sub-ledger accounting. As a part of support project, you'll have a service level agreement. Okay, this SLA you may have as a part of AMC, or else you'll have a separate document also, SLA, service level agreement. As per service level agreement, there will be detailed information. If end users are going to raise the tickets, if they are going to create the tickets in the Remedy tool or Clarify and any other tools, and within how much time the consultants has to resolve the issues, that can be addressed in the SLA one. That can be addressed in the SLA one. Say for example, in the SLA, this point is very important. So in the SLA, clearly they specify, okay, the SLA service level agreement. So where the two parties will mutually agree for that, they will approve it. That means Infosys as well as XYZ and client. The service level agreement, they will clearly specify if users are going to raise the tickets with the priority one. Okay. Priority one. Or simply you can call as P1 also. P1 means priority one. Okay, priority one or P1, or simply you can say P1, priority one, P2, P3, P4. Okay, priority one, priority two, priority three, priority four. If any user is going to create the ticket from the client side for the issues what they are facing, so in the SLA, service level agreement, there will be clear information which states if any user is going to raise the ticket with the priority one, the priority one tickets need to be resolved, say within 1 hour. Okay, max 1 hour. And priority two means maybe within 1 day. Okay, priority three means maybe within 1 week. Priority four means maybe in 2 weeks. So this is how like one client may have, other client can have a different service level agreement. Okay, if priority one means one client may say, other client may say immediately. Okay, or else maybe in 30 minutes or only 10 minutes. Priority two means maybe 10 hours max. Okay, priority three means maybe 1 day. Priority four means maybe 1 week. So this is how everything can be clearly mentioned within the SLA. service level agreement. The service level, I took two examples here. Okay. So one client may have this kind of service level agreement time frames based on the priority. Other client may have like this. Totally depends. But try to understand the point. So the service level agreement, when we are just when we sign our company here we are taking as Infosys. When Infosys will have a annual maintenance contract, along with that they will sign on SLA. Within the SLA, they'll have these terms like if any user is going to raise the ticket with a P1 that need to be resolved within 1 hour or 1 day or 1 week, 2 weeks or 30 minutes or 10 hours or 1 day or 1 week. Okay, this is how everything will be declared very clearly. And if as per this SLA, if the issues are not able to resolve, there will be penalty clause also. There will be penalty clause also. Say for example, for one client, this is the clause is applicable. So we raised one SR, the users are raised one issue or ticket, or you can call a service request also. Ideally, service request, we use the term in case of Oracle, but in general scenarios also you can use it. You can call with any name. Okay, issues, okay, tickets, or SR. SR means service request. That means the end user is raising the request to provide the service to fix the issues. They are facing the issue with that, they can raise the SR, service request to us, to consultants. So here the priority is very important. Say user raised one ticket, user logged one ticket in the remedy tool, and that they mentioned as a priority 1. And priority 1 ticket you have to resolve within 1 hour. The ticket is not resolved. In that case, what is the penalty clause? There will be penalty clauses also in the SLA. So if Infosys team is not able to resolve the ticket as per the SLA time frame, Infosys has to pay the penalty for the client. There are many clients received penalties from these consulting companies. Okay. Here in our case, example, Infosys. If Infosys team is not able to help to the business or client as per this SLA, service level agreement, the Infosys has to pay the penalty. The penalty would be huge amount. So that's how you can have a SLA, service level agreement. Any questions on this point, please? I'll talk about more details, but here whatever discussed based on that. Okay. So now we are discussing about this point, not able to validate AP invoice. This kind of tickets, they can mark it as priority 3. So which tickets, which issues you just tag as a priority 1? The end users who are working on the system, which tickets they can tag it as a priority 1 tickets. Which tickets, say for example, instance is down. Means simply you can say wherever they are going to have a business loss, that we can say priority 1 tickets. For example, instance is down, they'll raise the ticket as a priority 1, P1. Okay, so if instance is down, in that case, this 1 hour also not applicable. Immediately that should be up. Okay, immediately that should be up. Or else the users are not able to create the invoices in the payables. If they are trying to click on create invoice, it is not opening the form. That is very important thing. Okay, immediately that should be resolved. Otherwise, say for payables department, 20 users are working. The 20 users has to sit in front of the system without doing any activities. There is a business loss. That kind of tickets, they can log as a priority 1. Okay, priority 1. And
So sorry, but I just want to ask one. In that scenario, what we can do as a functional consultant? Because if instance is down, then might be
I'll explain
technical
that. I'll explain. First, let's try to understand which tickets we tag as a priority 1, priority 2. When it comes to how we resolve the tickets, I'll explain that. Okay, there is some process. Okay, when you get the tickets, what process we follow, that I'll explain. Okay, now just I am talking about how the end users can log the tickets, what are the priorities, what sort of issues they mark it as a priority 1, 2, 3. We are discussing. After that, when we get priority 1 ticket, what process we have to follow, priority 2 tickets, what process and what is possible, what is not possible, how to convince the client and etc. Those all points I'll explain. Yep. How to resolve or how to convince.
Yes, yes.
We'll discuss. Yeah, I'll explain. There is a lot of information to understand. Yep. Fine. So here what we are discussing, priority 1 means if business loss, if there is some business loss for that client because of our instance, that sort of issues they tag as a priority 1. Mostly if instance is down, they can raise the ticket as a priority 1, or else in the tables they are not able to create invoice, they log the ticket as a priority 1. That means immediately those need to be resolved. Otherwise, there will be business loss. Okay, all the users who are working, if instance is down, no one can work on instance. All people will sit idle. That is a business loss. And if invoices they are not able to create an entire payables department, all the invoices will be pending to enter in the system. The reality, the business happening outside, but that we are not able to capture into the system. Okay, and that sort of, which is very much urgent. Okay, which is very much urgent. Or else say, for example, we have seen in the payables how to close the payable period. So we are not able to close the payables period because of some issue. Okay, because of some issue. So the end users can raise the ticket. Here, when it comes to payables period close, in some companies, the end users only will work on the period close activities. In some companies, consultants will work for period close. End users never involved in the period close activities. The support consultants only has to perform the period close activity. If end users are working on the period close process, if they are not able to close the period, they'll raise the issue, they'll raise the ticket with the priority 1. That means, and when it comes to period close, that has to be closed as soon as possible. Otherwise, if they don't close the period will be open. The users may record the transactions in that period. They have to close the period, they have to move to the next period by opening. So that is the reason that also they treat as a priority. The same way, like for priority 2, okay, priority 2, say they are trying to make the payment for one supplier. For specific supplier invoices, system is not selecting. Specific supplier invoices, it is not selecting. It is not that much urgent, so that they may tag it as a priority 2. Okay, priority 2, they can tag it. And they are trying to create the accounting entries for specific invoice or specific payment. Accounting entries are not happening. Okay, or as we discussed, validation is not happening for specific invoice, or those they can tag as a priority 3. And priority 4 means it could be anything which is not urgent. Even whatever we discussed priority 3, that may treat as a priority 4 also. Those are not that much urgent. Okay, so those they can tag as a priority 4. Based on how soon they have to perform that activity, how soon they are expecting that issue resolution, accordingly they can tag it. Sometimes what users will do is, so say for example, they are not able to create accounting for one invoice. The end users can tag that also as a priority 1. When we look into that, we can understand this should not be classified as a priority 1. If you are not able to create accounting for so-and-so invoice or payment, there is no business loss for you. And we reclassify as a priority 1 to priority 2 or 3, depending on issue. Okay, if users are going to mark it as a priority 1, always that may not be priority 1. Okay, by knowing or unknowingly also, users may just select wrong priority. So when it comes to us, we can change that priority. Okay, so that's how the priority 1 means the issues which need to be resolved where there could be business loss for the client. Priority 2 means which need to be resolved as soon as possible, may not be immediately. So those will take into priority 2. And priority 3, 4 means, so even we are going to take some time, there won't be any issue. So we can just by taking 1 week time or 5-6 days or 2 weeks time, we can resolve those as soon as possible. Because of that, there won't be any business loss for the client. So that's how the P1, P2, P3, P4, that's how they'll tag each and every tickets. Okay, and that's how they'll specify. So this is how we'll get the tickets. Okay, so they provide this information: what is the ticket, what is the application, what in which process they are facing that issue, the description they'll provide the attachments. Okay, they'll just give the priority. Then that information will come to that remedy tool. To remedy tool, we can have access. As a consultants, we can have access. As end users to log the tickets, they will have access. And our project manager also can have access. In support project also, we can have a manager. In some projects, we may not have a manager also. Somebody will take the responsibility of managing the project. So when the ticket will be logged by end users with this information, somebody will take the responsibility of assigning the tickets to consultants. Say, for example, if it totally depends, here assignment also would be there. It depends on company and the tool, what process they are following. Assign to, okay. Status of the ticket. So some cases, okay, if end user is very sure who is going to resolve this ticket, the end user also can assign this ticket to consultant. In some projects, end user never involved in these activities of assigning, just they will log the tickets in the respective tool what they are using, and the ticket will come to the team, support team. Maybe the project manager will assign to consultant, which consultant has to resolve this issue. Say there is one consultant who is working for finance, the finance consultant, they can assign this ticket, or else they have a different consultants for finance, one consultant for payables and GL, one consultant receivables for receivables and cash management, another consultant maybe for fixed assets. So who is responsible for payables? To that consultant, the ticket can be assigned by project manager. Or else in some projects, what happens is, so we have to, as a consultant, we have to log in the tool and we have to assign those tickets on our name. Okay, it is not fixed. It's project to project, client to client. The process could be different in some companies. So to assign the tickets, there will be separate team also. There will be 1 or 2 people who will be just assigning and who will be monitoring the tickets. Okay, in some projects, user itself can assign the ticket to so and so consultant. And again in this when they log the ticket, there will be information who is creating this ticket, what is the contact number, and all those details also will be available. Okay, so say project manager is assigned tickets to us. Okay, we are working for financial, so assign the ticket. So then when we log to this remedy tool, you can find out all the tickets which are assigned on our name. So if the ticket is assigned, the status would be like assigned. If the ticket is not assigned, the status would be not assigned. Say my project manager, user created ticket in the remedy tool. My project manager assigned ticket to my name. And when I log into this remedy tool, I can see all the tickets. Sometimes what happens is this tool can be integrated with your emails. Whenever ticket is assigned, you will get an email notification also. That depends, like who has to follow which process, accordingly it will work. So whenever the ticket is assigned, instead of logging into this tool, you may get the email notification on your mail ID. So by going, you may get these details, what ticket, what is your priority, or else you always have to connect to the remedy tool only, remedy or clarify or some other tools. So you have to connect. When you connect only, you will be able to see which tickets are assigned on your name. So based on that, you can take the action. So once you get the ticket, you may update the ticket status as a WIP, work in process. That means if anybody look at that project, so if anybody look at that ticket, they can understand, okay, so and so person is already working on the ticket. That's how they'll understand. So when you get the ticket, what process we have to follow? How to resolve the ticket? Okay, how to resolve the ticket? I'm not going to talk about only this ticket, any ticket. So you got a ticket, how you get the ticket? The end user is going to create one ticket in the remedy tool. The end user may assign, or else you may go and do the self-assignment, or else your project manager or team lead may assign the tickets on your name, whatever it may be the scenario. Finally, just you got one ticket. So that's how you maybe 4 or 5 tickets or 10 tickets may be assigned to you. So when you go to remedy tool, when you see the tickets which are assigned on your name, say you may find the 4 tickets assigned to your name. That generally use the term called as queue. Simply you can say like how many tickets are in your queue. If somebody is going to ask you, you will respond saying that 4 tickets I have in my queue. So we use this terminology. How many tickets are in your queue means how many tickets are associated on your name, associated to your name or in your account. How many tickets are there in your bucket? So that is a terminology you should remember. How many tickets are in queue? Okay, 4 tickets are in my queue. The queue means which need to be resolved by you, okay, which are assigned to you. So when we verify how many tickets are assigned, those you can see those tickets are how many tickets are assigned, that you can call as tickets are in our queue. Now we got one ticket. Okay, when you verify remedy tool, we identified one ticket is assigned to us and we go through that information. Okay, we'll read like what is the title, which application, which process that user is facing the issue, and what is the issue description and all, everything will go through. Now, so what is the resolution process? How to resolve? As a consultant, okay, even when you attend the interview also, the people will ask you this kind of questions only. Say, for example, you got one ticket, what process you follow, you resolve the ticket. That's very, very important. So when you get the ticket, first point is you have to understand. Okay, here I'll write it. Resolving the ticket. Issues. Okay. So very first point is when you get the ticket, we have to understand about that issue. Okay, understanding. So this is very, very important. Okay, very, very important. Many people, what they do is they get the ticket, they'll start asking others how to resolve it. Okay, this is the issue, how to resolve it. Okay. So understanding is very important. Okay, when you go through this ticket, so take the same example. This is a ticket I received. First, I'll read this. When you read this ticket, the information may be enough, may not be enough. If information is not enough, you have to request the user to provide more information. Okay, more information if required. Say, for example, the same ticket I received. Okay, or else say, for example, user raised one ticket. The ticket is unable to create the accounting. That is a ticket description, and they written like I am not able to create the accounting and the related to payables and process is accounting process. The ticket order, the process are addressed accordingly. That if any ticket related screenshot issued screenshot, they'll attach and they'll give priority, etc. Now I want to resolve that issue as a consultant. First, very important point is understanding the ticket issue. So we'll go through the complete information. So to understand more about the ticket, if you need more information within the ticket level, you can have a contact numbers also. Okay, who created ticket, what is the person name, what is the email ID, what is the person contact number, those details also would be available in the ticketing tools. Okay, ticketing tools. If you need more information, what you can do is you can call and you can talk to that end user. If you are in the client location only, that user and you are in the same location, in the client location, you can walk to that user. Instead of calling that user, you can go to that user. Okay, you can go to that user and you can sit with that user and you can discuss. Okay, I got one ticket to you, the ticket from you. That issue is related to accounting creation. Then we have to ask the question to that user. Are you facing this issue for specific invoices? Are you facing this issue for specific currency related invoices? Or are you facing this issue for specific supply related invoices or specific site related invoices? And these details we have to ask them. We should get more clarity about that. And again, after asking those questions, again, you have to think on those points. When you get any issues, depending on issue, you can ask the questions. Along with that, you have to think on that points. This issue is because of some setup related issue. Setups. You have to think about the setups also. The user is facing this issue. First, we'll understand that issue. What are the additional information we required? We have to get. Say that issue, the user is saying, I'm facing some error message. System is showing that you cannot create accounting. They may write the description. If they don't provide the attachment with the screenshot of that error, you can ask the client user. You can ask the user, please share the screenshot, which error you are getting. Okay, so they will just provide it and you can look into that. And you have to think on other sides, the issue what they are facing that may be related to some setups might be missing, or setups that may be setup related issue you have to understand. Or else you have to think in other way, like the user might have created the transaction with wrong information. Say for example, user created, say current month is September. User is trying to create the invoice with October month. So since there is a future period, you can create the transaction, but you cannot account it. So these points also you have to understand. The issue what user is facing, this is because of some like setups are missing, or user is entered some wrong information. This is what we have to understand. First, we have to verify this issue, somewhere it is related to any setups. You can think on that. No, it is not related to setups. Any chance user entered in that invoice with the wrong information, that you have to understand. Definitely you have to look into that invoice. When you talk to the client, when you talk to the business users, if you're a business user and you are in the same location, you can go and sit with that business user. You can ask that user, show me which invoice you are not able to create accounting. Let me look into that. You will sit next to that user and you look into the system. You ask that user to open that invoice to show, so that you can see how that information is entered, so that you can understand if anything is entered by that user as some wrong information. Or else if user is some other location and you are sitting in the different location, if you want to just see those details, you may ask that user to share the screen. You will connect to some meeting by using some internal tools or external tools, and you will ask that user to share the screen sharing, and you will ask the user to show what is the issue they are facing. The live you can see that. Or else some clients don't allow us to access the production instance. Once they start using the production, they don't allow. In those scenarios, we cannot do anything. In some scenarios, if you ask the user, can you provide your login credentials? I'll go and check and I'll verify. Then if user is providing the login credentials, you can connect to that instance and you can verify. If they have some kind of policy like that production should not be accessed by consultants and all, definitely they don't allow you. So you have to go to the user, or else some screen sharing option through meeting only you can see that information. So that's how ultimately you have to look into that issue also. Okay. So say you are verified. Okay. So when you talk about create accounting, you don't have, for example, user is saying I'm not able to create accounting for payment. So when user is not able to create accounting for payment, by seeing that you can understand like, okay, you have to think on that point, this user created accounting for invoice or not. Okay, or else user is not able to create accounting for an invoice, whether any hold is placed on invoice or not. These points and all we have to think and we have to look into. So any setup related issue or any user related issue, we have to understand. If setup related issue, we go on to do the changes to that setup so that that issue will be resolved. If user enters some wrong information, that is the reason they are not able to process. Okay. And say, for example, user is creating invoice. They are saying that I'm not able to find the supplier. So when you look into that, you can identify the supplier site information is not assigned to that business unit, but still some user is trying to create invoice. that you can identify that that is setup issue, and you may go and assign that the supplier side to that business unit so that the supplier information will be visible in the invoice creation screen. Okay, or else say supplier, you have one prepayment invoice. So supplier is, user is saying, we have prepayment, we want to apply the prepayment on that invoice, but we are not able to apply the prepayment. So when you get that issue, you may just verify. So really they have a prepayment or not. And again, the prepayment what they have with which supplier, they are trying to apply to the same supplier or other supplier, you have to verify. You have to ask that. And you just show me like you try to apply, I'll see whether you are able to apply or not. We will ask them, we'll sit with them, we'll ask them, they'll try to apply it. Maybe the prepayment maybe with a different supplier, or they by mistake they are trying to apply to other suppliers. That is not possible. Or else the prepayment which is available and which they are trying to apply to same supplier, but it's not happening. So when you create the prepayment, there will be one field called as settlement days, on or after. So if they give future date, till the date they cannot apply that prepayment on that invoice, that you can notice and you can help them. This is a scenario because you created prepayment yesterday and you given on or after as next month. From next month only you can apply this prepayment on any invoice. And this is just when we sit with the users, when you look into that issue, you can find out that reasons and you can help them. Say, for example, accounting related issue or validation related issue, you just verify. And say issue is related to invoice validation. User, just take the same example. So we received this issue and we just spoke to that business user also, end user also. They are saying, so we are not able to validate any invoices. That's what they are saying. And first of all, user has access to validation action. When they are clicking on validate, it is not happening. And we may ask that business user, did you try by submitting the invoice validation program? Okay, they can submit from the schedule process. They can submit a payables invoice validation program. We'll ask them, are you able to validate the invoice by submitting that program? The user may respond saying that, yes, I tried with that also. We are not able to validate. Even if you are trying to validate the invoice one by one, it is not happening. So this is a situation they'll explain. For that, there is no additional setup. Okay, so the user mistakes, if invoices entered like the data here, validation won't become an issue with the user data. Now what we do is generally, so now we just verified, here there is no other clue. Okay. Or else if when the user is trying to click on validate, if it is throwing some error message, so by reading that message, we can understand. It says something. Based on that, we can fix that issue and we can help to the user. The message also you are getting, you cannot validate this invoice and all you are getting, you verified. There are no holds on that invoice. There is nothing wrong with that invoice. You verified everything fine. Still, you are not able to validate. And you will just, you'll try to resolve it by understanding that issue. If you are not able to resolve, if any error message you are getting, with that error message, you will search in the Oracle Global Support. Okay, Oracle Global Support. Right. So here, 1 second. Okay, so with that error message, you can search in the Oracle Support. Okay, support.oracle.com. This you can call as Metalink also. In past, we used to find it as Metalink, metalink.oracle.com. Now the name they changed as a support.oracle.com. This we call as Oracle Support or Global Support. So you are working as a consultant, you got some issue from the business users and you try to resolve it. There are no clues to resolve it. So you will come to this Oracle Global Support, click on this My Oracle Support, and you have to provide the login credentials. When you are working for any company as a consultant, you will provide the login credentials. Okay, log into My Oracle Support. You can click on that. So here you can provide your username and password. You will be able to access to this global support portal. And here you can create the SR. The SR creation and all I should not do in this session. That won't be correct. What I'll do is I'll make few screenshots and I'll show you. Okay. offline, I'll just make few screenshots. I'll walk through the screenshots. Once you log in, which screen you can see, then you have to click on SR, service request, what details you have to provide, what fields are available, and what are the severities, and all those points I'll explain. But in the class, I should not include that. Okay. So this is the point you have to understand. Okay. So you received one issue and you verified and you are not getting any clue to resolve it. Ultimately, with that error message, you can go to Oracle Global Support and you can search with that error message. So Oracle will provide that relevant, relevant reasons in which scenario you get that error message. If you are getting that error message, how you can fix that issue. And or else Oracle may say, if you are getting this validation issue, that they may say this is a bug. Bug means something wrong with the coding. Okay, something wrong with the coding. So if any bug means issue with the programming. So when we click on validate, certain processes need to be triggered with respect to coding. That is not happening in the instance. In that case, the Oracle may suggest, when you search in the Oracle Global Support by saying that what are the error messages you are getting in instance, that error message Oracle may recommend this be identified as a bug. To fix that bug, you have to apply the so-and-so patch. Okay, bug means some abnormal event. That means issue with the coding, programming. Okay, that means bug means coding related issue, not functional related issue, coding related issue. These issues can be resolved by only Oracle. If you want to fix that bug, what Oracle will do is they'll suggest us to apply the patch. Okay, patch need to be applied. Patch means the piece of code. So bug why we are getting some piece of code is missing. Validation related some code is missing. That is reason user is not able to validate that issue. So now Oracle will suggest you can apply the patch. Patch means Oracle will provide the piece of code. The patches you can download. But when it comes to cloud and all, this patches application should be done by DBA. Okay, when you search with that error message in the Oracle support or global support, you can find that issue is causing because of there is a bug in the coding. Bug means the coding, some programming is missing. Because of bug, we are getting it. How to fix that bug? By applying the patch. Okay, by applying the patch. So the patches can be applied by DBA. The patches can be applied by DBA. Now here case is, okay, here case is, you have a test instance, you have a production instance, prod instance. So where user is facing the invoice validation in the production. Okay, in the production. Now, so if there is any bug, it is not at all recommended to apply the patches directly on the production. Sometimes what happens is, if you apply the patch to resolve this validation related issue, this patch can disturb some other code also, and it may create some new issues also. Say you are facing some issue that is invoice validation. You are not able to validate the invoices. You raised on, the user raised on a ticket, and that we received, we verified. There is no clue to resolve it. And we verified with the same error message in the Oracle Global Support. They are suggesting patch need to be applied because this is classified, this kind of issue is classified as a bug. Now, you may request Oracle DBA to apply the patch on the production. If you apply the patch on the production, so you may get some new issue, system may not allow you to create invoice also. So how the patch application will behave, sometimes you cannot predict. We are applying the patch to resolve invoice validation issue. It may resolve, may not resolve. It may create new issue also. After applying the patch, if you try to navigate to invoice creation screen, it may not open also. That is the reason always what practice we follow is, as a part of support, if any patch need to be applied, where you have issue, you have an issue in the production, and users always will work on the production only. They never touch test instance. Test instance as a consultants, we can use it for any testing purposes. So in this scenario, what needs to be done is the production instance need to be cloned to test instance. With a certain schedules, the cloning can happen. We have to raise on SR, service request. In the Oracle Global Support, we raise on SR, service request, saying that please clone production to test. So within the production, whatever the data, everything they'll clone to test instance. When they clone to test, here also you'll face that same issue. This is the production, entire production they're copying to test. That means in the production, whatever the issues are there, those issues also will be copied to test instance. So now here, we request the DBAs to apply the patch on the test instance, which is nothing but cloned instance, you can say. Cloning means copying one instance to another instance. Within that instance, what are the setups, what are the data we have, everything will be copied. We raise on SR. SR means service request. Okay, through this website, okay, you can log into this in this website and you can raise the SR to Oracle. You can raise the SR to Oracle. So by if you in the when you raise the SR to Oracle, what purpose you are raising the SR? You are raising the SR to clone the instance. In the production, you have issue. In the production, you should not apply the patches. If you apply the patch, that may create some new issues, and we are not very sure how that patch is going to behave. That is the reason we have to raise the SR to Oracle saying that please clone our production to test. So for every issue, we don't ask the Oracle DBA team. Okay, with the certain schedules, you can ask whenever you think like the data is whatever the data is available in the production, we need in the test environment also, so that if any issues are there, we will be able to reproduce that issue. Means again we can test that. So that's how just we can ask them. So they'll copy the production to test. All the setups data will be copied to test. Now here also in the test instance also, if you go and try to validate, then what same issue you will face since you everything you copied. Now we ask the DBAs to apply the patch on the test instance. After applying the patch, here test instance is nothing but production cloned. Production is copied. Production is cloned means production is copied. Okay, production cloned instance. So after applying, then we'll ask the DBA to apply the patch. DBA will apply the patch on this test instance, and we will go and verify. As a consultant, we will check in the test instance whether the issue is resolved or not because of the patch which Oracle DBA team applied. If patch is applied, patch is whatever the patch is applied, the patch is resolved that issue, then we will ask the DBAs to apply the patch on the production. So that is the process we follow. Any patch need to be applied to resolve the bugs. To fix the bugs only, we use the patches. Patch is nothing but some piece of code which is missing that we will add to the respective functionality with the patch concept. So once the issue is resolved in the test, we will ask the DBA to apply the patch. And again, here we'll do the testing. So user is able to do the validation. And because of this patch, anything is other functionalities are disturbed or not, we will verify all those. We will check validation. After that, we'll create invoice. Again, we are going to validate that new invoice also, accounting is also happening or not, everything will verify. So if everything is working fine, we'll ask the DBA to apply the patch on the production instance. After applying the patch on the production instance, we don't go and test anything in the production. You may have access, may not have access. It totally depends. In some clients, in some projects, you get access to production also. In production as a consultant, we don't create anything. They have some issues to verify only, we have to be there. Fine. If you have access, you can go and look into that, you can verify. If you don't have access, you can ask the user, the end user, to check it. You can inform to the end user saying that we applied the patch, now you go and try to validate that issue. So the user will go and verify. If they are able to validate, okay. Still, if they are not able to validate, again we raise the SR to Oracle. We raise the SR, service request to Oracle. That will take you through a few screenshots. I'll make few screenshots and that I'll show you. I should not take you through live though, because that is official information. The client information would be there. So we have to raise SR to Oracle saying that whatever the patch you suggested, the patch also applied, still that issue is not resolved, and please help us. So in that case, they may say, Okay, that means this we are identifying as a new bug, new issue, and our development team will work and they'll just create some patch and will apply. You please give us some time. That's how they'll take some time. Ultimately, by applying some other patch in some other way, they'll help us to fix that issue. So that is the process we have to follow. When we get the ticket from the end user, we have to look into that issue. We have to understand that issue thoroughly. If any additional information is required to understand that issue, we have to talk to them. Then you can think about it. The issue is related to some setups are missing or user entered some wrong information. You have to thoroughly analyze all those points. Finally, if you think no setup related issue, no user mistake, and it's application related issue only, then you have to search for the information in the Oracle Global Support to find out the solution for that issue. So you are not able to create accounting, you are not able to create invoicing, or else you are not able to apply the prepayment. Or when you create the withholding tax, when you are implementing withholding tax, system is not creating the withholding tax invoice, even you completed all the setups. Or else when you are making the late payments, system is not calculating the interest. Okay, this is all any scenario. Like first we have to verify setups are proper or not. Say you are trying to make the payment, late payment, you did all the setups, but system is not calculating interest. The end user may say, I'm making the late payment, system is not calculating the interest. Then you'll start asking the questions. Is it happening for specific supplier or all suppliers? All the questions we'll ask. Okay, they'll answer. Accordingly, you can think and you can analyze. So you may just you have to verify first anything is related to setups or not. You will go and verify which setups need to be completed, those setups are completed or not. Okay, so in the invoice options that create interest invoice checkbox is enabled or not, to which supplier that user is making the payment, the supplier site level, the interest case is set to yes or not, interest rates are created or not, everything will verify, everything is fine, still not able to create interest invoice. Again, you have to think on that point, the interest rates are available on which date. Says today user is trying to make the payment with the today date, rates are available or not, that also we have to verify. These all points we have to take into consideration. All setups are fine, still user is not able to create the accounting, then you have to, there is no other option. Setup should support to create the interest invoice. Okay, the invoice is late payment only, so still system is not creating, then you have to log the SR to Oracle. See, if users are having some issues, to take the support from consultants from us, they log the tickets in the remedy tool. If you are able to resolve that issues, you can resolve and you can provide the solution to that users. And if you are not able to resolve, we have to contact the Oracle through Oracle support. However, user is logging the ticket in that internal tool, remedy tool or clarify tool, we have to log the ticket in the global support. Okay, the support website, the support portal, we have to log the ticket, and that will explain. Okay, how we have to log the tickets and how we can have a communication with the Oracle support team. Those points we'll discuss. So this is the process you have to follow when you get the tickets. Any questions on this, please?
Lakshman, you said that P1, this if same case not able to validate EP invoice, it is a raise under P1, and there is a patch, all these things will be required. Okay, means we are not identify what was the exact issue, and we can highlight it to the Oracle support team. So it is taking time. So on that time, what we can do? We can
See, that is a challenging time for us. Okay. So as per SLA, we'll have a service level agreement. Okay. As per SLA, we'll have a timelines. Sorry. So as per SLA, we can have a timelines, and we got one ticket. Say we got one ticket with the P1. Okay. So in payables, for no invoice, they are able to make the payment. That's how you got priority one ticket. So we will raise the SR and we will look into that. If that can be resolved immediately, we'll resolve by finding the reasons. Okay, we may resolve it, and we'll search in the Oracle Global Support portal and there could be some clues to resolve that, or there could be some solutions. If this is scenario, what you have to do, which process you have to run to resolve it, what etc. you have to do it. We may find some information. So with that information, we may fix it. Sometimes you may not fix immediately. You may raise SR to Oracle with priority 1 only. Okay, the priority 1 you can raise SR to Oracle. As per Oracle, like Oracle portal, instead of priority, there we call as severity. Okay, here the tool you may call it as priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, priority 4. When you deal with Oracle and you raise SR, there you can have as a severity. Sev 1, Sev 2, Sev 3, Sev 4 we call. So you may rise with a Sev 1, severity 1, which is equal to priority 1. So then if it is a severity 1, even Oracle also should resolve that issue immediately. Any behalf of the client, behalf of the XYZ ANC, we raise the ticket to Oracle. Okay. So XYZ ANC company took the subscription to use Fusion applications. We are helping to that company as a consultant from Infosys. So when we raise SR to Oracle, so that means in their books, that is the SR from XYZ ANC company only. So there will be service level agreement between XYZ company and Oracle also, because if they have to resolve immediately, almost that when we talk about that SLA, service level agreement, this is how the time frame should be very similar to that. That's how the time frames you can find. So we raised on SR and Oracle is taking some time. They suggested patch, the patch we applied, the patch created one more issue, additional issue, and another patch is applied that that additional issue is resolved and actual issue is not resolved. Still, Oracle team is working on that issue to help us. It may take some time, 1 day, 2 days also. So in such kind of scenarios, we cannot do anything. Only we have to convince the client. Okay. So this is the issue. This is not in our hand. So we raised SR also to Oracle. Oracle team is working on it. They applied, they suggested some patch. The patch also we applied. That patch could not resolve that issue. And the team is working on that. They are looking into that issue. We'll resolve it as soon as possible. Sometimes the client will listen to us. Sometimes they'll they'll start shouting. There'll be different scenarios. Always you have to convince the client by explaining the current situation, as we are seriously working on that issue. Other side, Oracle also Oracle also working on that issue. The issue will be resolved as soon as possible. So you should be able to manage. You should be able to convince in such kind of scenarios. Yep.
Lakshman, do we have any common issues? Either it could be day-to-day or like a month-end activities, like expected scenarios.
Sorry.
Do we get a common issues in the real time, or like again it's like 30% of the common issues
Common
we can
issues
expect?
means what? What do you mean by common issue?
Like in your example, if I taken like we can unable to create accounting, like
Yeah, these
in,
okay. In that way you are asking. Yeah, these are very common issues. Yes, you will face issues with validations, accounting. The period close we have a different reasons, right? With those reasons. So in that case, we'll run the sweep program to move that. Before that, we'll try to close. If you are not able to close, we'll take the business permissions and we'll get it. Whatever examples I'm taking, those are very common only. You have to treat. Okay.
how about month end? Lakshman?
Month end, you can look into the classes as a part of payables I covered.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other questions on this point, please? Any questions here?
Lakshman, I have question.
Please.
Yeah, last week I gave an interview and
No, one second. Those all we'll discuss in the end of the session. Now let's talk about.
no, actually they gave me one scenario wherein they asked
No, don't
me.
mind. I'll take in the end of the session. I'll take your question.
Okay, no problem.
Now let's discuss this one. End of the session. Okay, I'll give you the time. We can talk about
Sure.
your interview question.
And Oracle Global Support is an business user account, right? Do we can option to create it for a monthly charges? Do we have?
No. Along with the product subscription, they will get this global support access.
Yeah,
So they
thank
take the product subscription for 5 years. The 5 years, the Oracle will support that client.
you. Okay.
So for 5 years, they'll get Oracle support. That's all. Fine. So these are the points we have to understand. Now, just I'll take you through the process how you can raise the SR service request by using Oracle Global Support. Just capture a few screens here. So once you log into that global support, you'll be landing in this page. This is the page. So the what are the SR service requests we created, all will be displayed here. Okay, I just removed. And for every client, Oracle provides one support identifier. Support identifier. Here you can see that support identifier I just removed. Okay, that is our client related information. And if you want to create any SR to Oracle, you have to click on the create technical SR. You have to click on this create technical SR tab so that it will open this page. So this is the page will be open. You can write the problem summary. Okay, what is the issue you are facing? As a title we discussed, right? In the same way you can write that. And you can write the problem description. Detail level you can explain about that issue. So here maybe unable to create the accounting. You can write the problem summary. And when it comes to description, I created invoices in the payables and the invoices are validated and no holds are placed on that invoices. I am not able to create the accounting for that invoice. I am trying to create the accounting through manual process. Even I tried with create accounting process also, and still system is not supporting. That's how you can write the problem description here. And you can write here error code. Okay, error code. If you are facing the issue is showing some any error, the error code you can write. Please don't do all this. Somebody's drawing and all by using the tools. Please don't do that. And here you can see the what is the severity. Okay, severity 1, 2, 3, 4. So severity 1, you can mark that issue. If severity 1, it is going to be complete loss of service or okay, it serves loss of service or minor loss of service or no loss of service. For the client point of view, how it is going to impact. Accordingly, you can write it. Okay, if immediate solution is required in the sense it's a loss of business. So you have to mark as a priority, severity 1. So this we call as severity, you can call as in short, you can say SCV, SEV 1, SEV 2, SEV 3, SEV 4. So this sort of like just accounting, create accounting related, you can select as a severity 3 or severity 4. And here you can provide the problem, where is the problem? Okay, if it is a cloud, you can select cloud. If it is a normal like on-premise, you can go with the software. Okay, here, so in case of cloud, you have to select cloud. Here product is which application, where you have issue that you can address. Just I given here general ledger, just randomly I selected. Product version, you have to select the operating system. Okay, how to select that operating that I selected in the next screen. The operating system under database version, the problem type. Okay, and here also you have to select the support identifier. When we are working in any support project, but for your account, multiple support IDs may be mapped if you are working for multiple clients. So here you have to choose the support ID and a problem under severity we given under this. Now we are in the solution. Okay. So here there will be some recommendations from Oracle. You can click on all these. Okay, the error is relevant to this. You can click on this. It will display the solution, some information. What could be the reason? That sort of information you can find. This is all just, you can just click on these details. It will display. So the issue related relevant information. If the matching here, I didn't provide anything. That is the reason it is not showing anything here. If I please provide the summary as unable to create the accounting in the payables. Here it will display that suggestions. Okay, here in between I selected GL related information. So if you select here, it will give some suggestions. What could be the reasons and all, it will list out automatically. And later, the more details, there will be some set of questions. You can provide the answer to that, or else you can ignore. Those are not mandatory. And final, you have to provide your contact details. When account is allocated for you, you have to provide your details. Those will be reflected here. If support is going to contact you, what is the method? Through email, or you can select your phone. Okay, through the mobile you can connect. That contact method you can provide. Finally, you can click on submit. Okay, finally you can click on submit. This SR, service request, will be submitted. So that's how you can create the SR. First step is we have to create SR. SR stands for service request. After creating the SR, you will get reply to that SR. The same like you here in the same page. Here, all the submitted SRs will be displayed. I removed, those are related to client related, so I removed. Here all the SRs will be listed out. So you will get reply to that SR saying that from Oracle global support team, somebody will respond to that saying that my name is so-and-so. I'll be helping you to resolve that issue. And if any additional details they require, they will ask us to provide. Okay, they will ask us to provide required information. They may ask some questions. So however, we are asking the end users when they raise the ticket in the remedy tool in the same way from the SR like team, like global support team, the support consultant can ask if any information they require to understand about that issue, what we are raised as SR, and we have to reply to that. Okay, we have to reply to that. If required, they'll have they can call us and they will talk to us to understand more about it, or else they'll ask the questions in the SR itself. And if required, that support engineer, you can call as support engineer from Oracle side, or support consultant from Oracle side, from the global support. So they will ask us to connect and to see the instance also. So we'll just connect, we'll have a meeting with them, and we may share the screen to them, our instance screen we can share. They will look into that and they will suggest, so please do that and run that process, or you just apply this patch. That's how they'll suggest. They'll support us till the issue will be resolved. Once that issue will be resolved, anyway, other side we will update in the remedy tool also, we fix that issue. When we get issue from end users, we may resolve, or else we may take Oracle support and we can resolve it. So that's how we can resolve the tickets. So we can keep in touch with Oracle support by raising SR, and with their support we may resolve, or else you can go to SR. I mean, you can go to global support. You can search with any issue. Here you can search. Okay, here there is a field, search field. Okay, here any issue you can search. The suggestions and solutions Oracle will provide. In this search field, you can go and search. So unable to create the account in Oracle Fusion Accounts Payable. Just search like that. There will be n number of results it will display. Okay, n number of results it will display, and you can click on those results and you can look into that. Any reason, maybe relevant reason, you can verify. That's how you can try to fix. Finally, if you don't find any suggested solutions from Oracle, any issue you have, you can come and you can search here, or else you got some error message. The error message you can put here and you can search. So with that error message, what are the suggestions already Oracle given? If the error is known by Oracle, what is the solution? All the information you can get. Or else if you are looking for some documents also, some certain documents Oracle provides, those we call as white papers. You can search for white papers here. You can search for Oracle payables white papers. From payable side, if any documents Oracle is providing within this portal, those would be available. The simple documents what Oracle provides, those we call as white papers. Okay, in this field you can search for it. So payables white papers, receivables, or else you can take specific concept. For example, You may search for the white paper called as the API netting white paper. If the white papers are available, documents are available from Oracle site, those will be displayed in the search results. You can download those documents. With any concept, you can search and you can find out. Okay. So invoice approvals, white papers, you can search, you can find that information. So that's how you can use this global support. Okay, you can use the global support. Here you can use SR and you can go to this knowledge base tab. Okay, from here you can search, or else you can go to knowledge base tab and you can search. And if any patches, if you want to identify, if Oracle is suggesting any patches, under patches tab, you can search and you can find. Okay, you can have a Oracle communities also. There also you can raise your questions, you can post your questions. Fine. So dashboard means all the information will be displayed, like your SRs and knowledge base and patches, etc. All that information will be displayed. Here you can go to settings and look and feels changes, etc. You can set. So this is what you can do with Oracle support. Okay. So primarily we use this for to raise SRs. Before that, when we raise SR, if the solutions are not available for the issues which you are facing, we have to raise SR. Whenever you get some issue, if you are not able to figure out what could be the reason for that issue, simply you can come to Oracle Global Support and you can find those issues. Okay, you can find the solutions also. So here what we can do is, say for example, you are not able to create the accounting entries. Okay, you are not able to create the accounting entries for payable invoices. That you can search in the Google, it will route to the Oracle support. Okay, in the Google also you can search for or unable to create accounting in Oracle Fusion Payables. This is how you can search. When you search here directly, it will route to support only. So create accounting process cannot be create this journal lines, or else which is relevant, you can go unable to create accounting in the payables and receivables, unable to create accounting due to a purchase order, some relevant, or else directly you can click on this. You can click on this. Okay, so the create account related issue here. If you log in, you click on sign in, and if you provide the login details, the solution they will provide. The solution will be available. With what reasons you may not be able to create invoices, what process you have to run, or else what activity you have to do. That is because of bug or what reasons it will display. Directly, even if you search in the Google also, the link will be provided. You have to click on sign in and you have to provide the login credentials so that you will be able to connect to the global support and you will be able to access the data. So that's how you can search in the Google and you will be able to access the relevant issues related pages which are available in the global support. So this is a process we have to follow. Sometimes Oracle may ask us to attend the OWC, Oracle Web Conference. Okay. So when you are working as a consultant, when you raise SR, they may ask us to connect to OWC, Oracle Web Conference, where they'll take our system into their control, the screen access they'll take and they'll look into that. We'll share our screen, and there will be OWC, Oracle Web Conference tool from Oracle side. Through that, they will send the invitation. The invitation and the time they specify within the SR only. Accordingly, you can join that meeting, OWC, Oracle Web Conference meeting. In that meeting, directly we can talk to the Oracle support engineer who is going to help us on the so-and-so ticket, whatever the SR we raised. We can come talk to them, or else they can call and they can talk to us. If it is OWC, we'll be able to share our screen so that they can look into our instance to fix that issue and to understand about that issue. So these are the points we have to understand related to issue. Any questions on this, please? Any questions when you get a issue or a ticket from user, what process we have to follow? What process we have to follow? We have to analyze, we have to understand that issue, and we have to analyze that issue. First, we have to understand what user is saying, what exactly issue the user is facing. then we have to analyze. Through analysis, what we can understand, the issue is anything related to some setups or user related data entry mistakes. These points we have to understand. If you can find some reason, accordingly you can fix it, or else is there any error message, and all those points we have to take. Based on that, you can understand. If you are not able to understand, you can go to Oracle Global Support. With the same error message or error number, you can search in the Oracle Support. There will be clues what reason you are facing that issue, that you can search and you can find out the solutions that you can suggest to the users. And if issue is fixed, that is okay. Or else you can just when you search the Oracle Global Support, the global support itself, you can find out that issue is because of some bug. So then you have to coordinate with the Oracle support by raising SR, by stating so and so patch need to be applied, and Oracle team support team will come into the picture, and DBS will keep in touch with us. And when we are going to apply the patches, the patch application should be done by DBA. First, the production need to be cloned to test environment, and the test instance they apply the patches. Once the patch is applied on the test, we will test it. If that is fixed, that issue will verify. If the issue is fixed, then we will request the DBS to apply the patches on the production. So that's how we follow the process. We never apply the patches directly on the production instance. And in some projects, we may not have access to production, client may not allow, but in some projects we can have access. If we have access, we can connect to the production and we can look into that issue also. We are not supposed to create any transactions in the production. We should not create any test related data. Any testing you have to do in the test instance only. Production you can view just to see what is created, what issue users are facing. We are not supposed to do anything in the production. That will become big issue. You should not create any invoice. You should not create any payments. You should not perform any transactions. Okay. So without business permission, business also won't give permission to consultants to create the transactions in the production. Their business users only create the transactions. So these are the points we have to understand with respect to receiving the ticket and closing the tickets. Whenever when we are working, we will update the status as the issue is in work in process, or else you suggested to the client saying that please do this so that issue will be resolved. Then you can update the status as the solution is proposed to the user. You will update the status, and issue is resolved. You can update the status as issue is closed. Okay, issue is closed. That's how you can update the status, so that if anybody is going to look at these tickets, they can understand what is the status of the ticket. Accordingly, you can have a review meetings also when you are working for support project. So between the team, maybe 2 days once or weekly once, you'll have a review meetings. How many tickets you have in your queue, and how many are resolved, how many you not started working, against how many tickets you raised SR, and what is the progress of the tickets. Say if I am going to attend for review meeting as a finance consultant, this is how I have to explain in the review meeting. I have total 10 issues in my queue, and 2 issues are resolved today. Okay, so I just total 10 issues are there in my queue. 2 issues are resolved, and for 4 issues I raised SR. So Oracle is working on those SRs, and 2 issues I suggest a solution to the business. They have to come back to us. So there is no response. This is how we have to explain. This is how we have to give the explanation for the tickets which we have in the queue if we are working in the support project. So this is a process we have to follow when we get the tickets. Apart from tickets, what we have to do as a part of support project, we will discuss. Before we proceed with that, any questions from anyone to understand about support process? When you get the ticket, how the process should take place. Okay, so these are the points we have to understand. Any questions from anyone, please? Any questions, please? Fine, no questions. So when we are working for any support project, okay, so we'll have a tools and we'll get the tickets and we just will start working on it. If we can resolve, okay, or else we'll take Oracle support, we can help. That may be direct issue solution or maybe through patch, etc. So along with that, we may work on some customizations also. When you are part of support project, you may work on some customizations. Mostly those are reports. Say all of a sudden the business may ask for some new report. If the report is not available as a part of standard report which Oracle is providing, that need to be customized. When report need to be customized when we are in the support project, okay, this process need to be followed. Okay, we'll take the detailed requirement from the client. Okay. So as a part of implementation, how that report need to be customized, the same is applicable as a part of support also. If new report need to be developed, okay, as a functional consultant, we have to take the detailed report requirement from the client and we have to prepare the functional spec. How the functional spec looks like, I'll show you. Okay, maybe in the tomorrow session, I'll take you through that some documentation also. So we have to prepare the functional spec. Okay, so prepare a functional spec. And our functional specification document you can call. Okay, so you can call it as prepare functional spec or functional specification document. Actual name is functional specification document. In short, you can call as a functional spec. Okay, this is functional. I think here we written right. Yep. Functional specification documentation. So even when we are part of support also, if any customization need to be done, the same process need to be followed. We'll say share functional spec to technical team. Okay, functional spec document to technical team. They'll prepare technical specification document to develop the report, what coding they have to write, that script they will prepare. And with that, they'll develop the report and they'll deploy that custom report, the instance, and we have to test it. And we have to show to the client, we have to take the approval. Finally, that the report, custom report will be deployed by technical people in that instance. As a part of support also same process. You are working as a consultant, your job primary responsibilities, you get the tickets from the business and you have to resolve as per SLA. Okay, as per service level agreement, service level agreement. Okay. SLA means service level agreement. So as per service level agreement, so we have to resolve the tickets. If any support required, we'll take from Oracle. Apart from that, we have to work on the customizations. And sometimes they may come up with the new features also. Okay. New features. Say client is not using as a part of implementations done, they are using. They came up with different business scenarios where one supplier, one party is acting as a supplier and customer. So definitely we are working as a support consultants, they come to us. So this is a business scenario we have. We have one company who is purchasing from us, same time they are purchasing from us. How we can do the settlement? They come to us. Then we have to implement API netting functionality. In that case, so we just do the setups in the test instance and we create the transactions, we'll show to the business. So this is how you can do the settlement, we'll show them. And who are going to work on that functionality, we will just train them how when they create, how to create the netting agreement, how to perform the netting settlement, we'll train them. If they are okay with that, the same setups we'll do in the production instance, then they'll start using. So this is how as a part of support, we do the support for the tickets. Along with that, we may work on few custom reports and you may just work on some new features also. So along with that, sometimes you may have to implement for new business units also. Say the implementation is done for 10 business units. The client is running the business, you are working as a support consultant. Again, after 1 year, they started new business unit, new branch they started. For that also implementation is required. The support consultant can do that. Okay. So the same solution, whatever the features are implemented for other business units, the same way, say they are going to run that payables department, receivables department, other departments in that branch. So those applications we have to implement if required. Okay, those applications we have to implement. For additional business unit, you have to create the new business unit, you have to do the payable setups, receivable setups. And again, you don't need to give the training and all, they know very well how to use those applications. Or else in that branch, the people who are going to work, those are very new to that application. Yes, you have to educate them by showing how to create invoices, how to make the payments, how to run the reports. So these are all points we have to help them. Okay, maybe additional business unit setups or additional business unit implementation you can call. So these are all we have to do. Our primary job is resolving the issues. Day-to-day base, we have to resolve the issues. So how many issues you may get? If you are working as a finance consultant, how many issues you may get? It totally depends on who is the client, what is their business process, etc. Based on that. In some implementations, in some support projects, if you are a one and only finance consultant, you may get daily 1 or 2 issues, or weekly maybe 5 or 10 issues. In some projects, you may get daily 5 to 10 issues. In some implementations for finance, daily you may get 20 issues. So in those scenarios, they'll plan how many consultants are required. If you are facing every day 2-3 issues, yes, one consultant can start working on that issues. If every day, if you are facing, for example, 10 issues or 15 issues, definitely 2-3 consultants are required. So based on the load of tickets, so consultants can be allocated to that project. Okay, so mostly you may come across the issues, more issues in the period closing. The month end definitely will have some more issues. So, and when it comes to period close, okay, the period close responsibility also mostly consultants only has to do it. Period close activity. Period close. Then some clients in some projects, in some support projects, the period close activity can be done by client team only. Okay, client end users and super users only they will involve. Okay, we have to guide them how to do that. In some support projects, they don't touch anything. Okay, that should be taken care by support consultants only. So these are the points we have to understand. This would be our responsibility in case of support project being a functional consultant. In support projects, what would be the technical consultant role? The technical consultant role would be sometimes when you face the issues, the issue may be related to technical issue. If the issue is related to some technical issue, the issue will be assigned to technical consultants. The technical consultant will work on it and they'll raise SR to Oracle. That's how they will take care of that issues. The issue is related to functional people will take care of it. The issue is related to technical, the technical people. Say, for example, technical consultant developed one report. The user is running the report. The report is not displaying the output. Now the ticket will be logged by end user. That will comes to remedy tool. Our project manager can assign the ticket to technical consultant who is working in our project as a technical consultant. The ticket will be assigned to the technical consultant. The technical consultant will just look into that and again they'll go and verify the coding, anything is disturbed and all they'll verify. Or else, so some third-party application is integrated with the Fusion applications, and the user may raise SR. The user may raise the ticket saying that we are not able to import the data from third-party applications to Oracle application. So who has to look after the integrations? Technical people. So in that case, see, first will rise, one user will raise that as a functional consultant, we can look into that. How the user is running that report, when they're running, what parameters they are giving. If they are doing everything, still it is not happening, that will be assigned to technical team. Technical team has to look after that. If any integration points are missing, mapping is missing, then technical people will come into the picture. So that's how they'll resolve. Okay. So functional issues are resolved by functional people, technical issues are resolved by technical consultants. So when the issues are raised by business users, the allocation will be taken, allocation takes place in the respective tool itself. And apart from that, resolving the technical issues by technical consultants, the technical people should be available to do some report customizations. If in the past environment, they may have to, client may ask some new additional page development. For new pages developments and all, this Infosys team can charge extra. Okay. So they have a contract with XYZ agency to provide the support. In between, if they are asking for new functionalities, new report developments, new page developments, for that Infosys will charge from XYZ agency client. So for that, technical team will support. Okay, technical team will support for those customizations. Even this additional business unit setups and all, for that also, there will be charges from the Infosys. Support means just support only. Apart from that, any new features and the new business unit related setups for this and new customizations, ideally for this, in the contract itself, okay, the annual maintenance contract itself, they may specify per year, we may, if you require, we may develop new 10 custom reports, and we may do this additional work also, or else any additional work we can do for you with the same contract amount. So that's how there will be terms and conditions within that AMC, annual maintenance contract. So as per the contract, this will work. As per annual maintenance contract, if there is no clause like if any additional setups will do, the additional setups which are required, though for that Infosys will charge from XYZ agency company. So this would be typical, okay, the typical responsibility of support consultant. Receiving the tickets and resolving the tickets. After receiving, we have to analyze, we can resolve, otherwise take Oracle support and fix it. If any customization, custom reports need to be developed, the functional people should support to prepare the function spec and the testing and the deploy, making sure that they're deployed and the client is able to use those. If any new additional features need to be implemented as a part of ongoing process, so we have to support any additional business unit setups if client required, we have to do it. And period closing is the primary activity which we do in the month end, and review meetings. Okay. So maybe 2 days once or weekly once, how those review meetings are scheduled. All the team members will join. It could be physical meeting where all people are in one location, or else few people may work from offshore, few people may work for on-site. Say for example, the support project is happening in the US. The team size is 6 members. 4 members may be in the client location. 4 members might be sitting in the another location. Okay, the Infosys office. They may sit in the office. From here also they can provide the support. Okay, it could be implementation or support. Few people can work from on-site in the client location. Few people can work from offshore also. Offshore means not in the client location. So this is how support projects can be managed. Any questions related to the support project process or the points what we discussed, please. Nothing else we are related to the support project. Anything else you want to understand, let me know, we'll discuss.
Period close means what you said, right? So AP, ARGL, all 3 period close we have working on all 3 G models, right?
Finance,
Okay.
whatever the periods we have to close it. When you talk about finance, so first we have to close the subledger applications. Ideally, we close the payables first, along with that receivables also we close. Then fixed assets will close. Finally, we close the GL. For cash management, we don't have any period close.
Yes. So what are the activities involved? Means when they're going to the AP, ARGL.
You just verify the document, verify our previous class videos. I explained and I showed how to close. We close the period.
Yeah, you are explaining.
When you are closing the payables period, there's how to resolve, how to sweep the data to next period, all the points we discussed. Same point. So you have to run the period close exception report. It shows what are the exceptions are available, which may not allow you to close the period. Based on that, you can work on it, or else directly you try to close the period, it will trigger that report and it will show the reasons. Accordingly, you can fix and you can close the period. Okay, you can just verify that our class video. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions, please? Any questions on this? So in tomorrow's session, I'll take you through the documents. Before that, a few points like so what are the other type of projects? Those are not very much primary implementation support only, the primary. In case of upgrade and rollout, the very small simple points you have to understand. I'll walk through that. So after that, I'll just talk about the documentation, what documents we prepare, how the documents looks like. I'll just take you through what is the best possibility. I'll see that because of the client documents, I cannot show. At least I'll trim those to make you to understand how documents look like. Up to that, I'll take you through what is the best possibility I have. I'll just take you through. Tomorrow's session, we'll see the documentation part. Okay, maybe like we'll see like in tomorrow, once we discuss based on that, we can plan still how many sessions we may require. After that, again, we have to discuss about interview related preparation, etc. All those points we'll discuss. Okay, we're done for today. Any questions, please? Otherwise, somebody said like they attended interview and they were asking some question. They can go ahead.
Yes, Lakshman.
Yeah, please.
So I attended an interview, and the interviewer asked me, suppose he gave me a scenario, and he said the users, they have got some rules, but they are unable to look any data.
What is that? What is the question? Users
They-
got
Users got some roles and responsibilities, but they are unable to look any data.
okay.
So what resolution I will?
That is the question they asked. What is your answer?
So I was confused. I was blank that
Okay.
time.
Okay, simple. So you have to verify, okay, the data access is provided for those roles, which roles are assigned to that user. That's all.
Data access.
Yeah, data access. Say the user is working for payables.
Mhm.
User is working for payables. You assign the payables roles. Say you assign accounts payable specialist role. But the user is not able to access the data, right? That is a question.
Right, right.
Issue. When user cannot have access to data, if you don't assign the business unit to that user role, user cannot see any data. That's all. So you have to verify the BU access is given or not. If it is a GL related access, primary ledger is assigned or not. If it is inventory related roles or inventory related user, inventory organization is assigned or not. That's all. If you don't answer for this kind of questions, total everything they can understand what is your profile.
Right.
Totally wrong. Wrong questions they'll ask. What do you do in your office every day? Say you just reach the office, you tell me what activities you do daily base. The questions will be odd questions. Means they get the point.
All right.
So how you are answering based on that, further questions would be there.
Okay.
Any other questions, let me know. Want to
Eh,
understand?
Lakshman,
One
the
second,
same.
1 second, wait. Please go ahead. You please go ahead. Any other questions you want to ask me, ask.
Are you asking me?
If you want to understand, if you whatever the questions they asked, you got confused or you are not able to answer.
Yeah, this was the question, and later he said how many years of experience I have. So I said I'm a fresher. So they were looking for 2 to 3 years of experience. So that's why they
See,
said that.
that's what. See, the point is when they
Mhm.
understand, okay, something, they'll bypass
Mhm.
process also.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct, correct,
They thought it's waste of time discussing with you.
correct.
That's it. Fine. Yeah, please. Any other? If so, no questions we have. Any other questions from anyone?
Lakshman, as right, you said that, right? What was the, when you can go to the office means what was the daily routine you work? So how we can explain that if we are not exactly working on the Oracle? So setup is not the every time we can do a
Please
setup.
take care of your background noise also. If you are asking the questions, okay, well and good. But please take care of you are asking the question. Same time, you can inform to the people if somebody is sitting next to you or somewhere. I'm in the meeting, please don't speak. That's my
Yes. Sorry for that.
request. That you may be in that situation, environment, no issues, but you please give instruction, then you raise your question. In our session, we no need to discuss unnecessary noise and something else. Please. Fine. If that is a question, okay. You asked your interviewer, you are asking me that question. I'll explain. See that my daily routine activities totally depends on in which project I involve. Say I'm part of implementation project. If I'm part of implementation project, my activities would be like this. Activities would be like that. Say they may ask you the question, okay, so now you are in the implementation project. Today you are what you are going to do. I may say like we are conducting the CRPs. What are the scenarios we are conducting as CRPs and keeping the instance ready. After keeping instance ready, I am preparing the spreadsheet, which scenarios we are going to present to the client. And we are going to we schedule CRP for 3 days. Each day, what concepts we are going to present to the client. I have to prepare it. I have to keep the CRP instance ready. And the today just we plan to CRP to conduct the CRP for payables or receivables, and we have to present so and so scenarios. That's how you can say. Or if you want to give the very generic answer, when you go to the office, first we'll check our emails, any emails related to our project related activities from manager, other team members. What is the schedule for today? So what is the work, in which work I'm involving, that routine work I'll be continuing. If I'm conducting CRPs, I'll be working on the CRP related instance related setups. And if I'm working on configuration related documents, setup documents, I'll work on the setup documents. If I'm involved in the testing, I do the testing. At the same time, I interact with the technical team for some custom components developments. Other side, I interact with the business users to collect the data which need to be loaded to the system, which need to be tested. And I'll just work on that FPDA templates, file-based data import templates. I'll talk to that business users to collect the data, explain the templates, how they have to provide the data. Once I get the data, sample data, I'll try to load some sample data in the test instance, whether it's working or not. I'll prepare some training documents for business users. It's all like where you are standing. Okay, the entire implementation project, you may say, I'm working on the requirement gathering. You can tell them I sit with what is your routine job as a part of that. Means you can say I'll go to office, I'll check emails, and I talk to my team and we'll attend for client meetings. We'll sit with the business users. Since I'm part of, as of now, I'm the part of requirement gathering. I sit with the business users, what system they are using. I'll talk to them. I'll try to understand how they are maintaining the suppliers, invoices, payments, bank accounts, customers, assets. So everything, what reports they are generating, I'll sit with them, I'll talk to them, I'll take the notes. So I'll try to understand the current business process. This is what I do. So this is what we have to explain. We will have a meetings in between the team. We'll talk to project manager and we'll have a client meetings. This is how it totally depends in where you are standing. This is a sequence of activities we do. So where we are standing. If you talk about I'm working as a support consultant. If somebody is going to ask you what would be your day-to-day activities as a support consultant, simply you can say, so the routine job would be resolving the issues. Once I just go to office, I'll just check our emails. Nowadays, even if you're at our home also, you have to check it. Okay, I'll just go and check any tickets are assigned to me, and I'll start working on those tickets. How do you pick the tickets? Here, that is another point I forgot to discuss. When you get the tickets, what process we have to follow, we discuss. But which tickets? You got 10 tickets. So always we have to pick the tickets which are priority 1 tickets. First, you have to try to resolve priority 1. Then you have to pick the priority 2, then priority 3. That's how you have to pick the tickets. They may ask you a question like, you got 10 tickets. 10 tickets are in your queue. You tell me how you are going to work on those. You have to answer saying that out of 10, which are priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, priority 4 tickets, I'll see. First, I'll start working on priority 1 tickets, then next priority 2, priority 3. What would be your daily work if you are working as a support consultant? Then you have to explain, I'll check the tickets and based on the priority, I'll start picking the tickets, I'll start working and I'll interact with the business users if any information required. I'll analyze the tickets, I'll try to find out the solutions. Or else I'll try to find out the solutions by using Oracle Global Support, by searching that issues, any suggestions Oracle is giving, any solutions Oracle is giving, that I'll try to find out, and that's how I'll fix the issues.
If solutions are not available, my responsibility will be raising SR to Oracle. I'll interact with the support team and I'll make sure that ticket would be resolved within the time frame. If any patch applications, I'll talk to the DBAs from Oracle side through by raising SR. We'll have a phone calls. That's how we'll communicate. And I'll make sure that first the patch applications are happening on the test instance, later production, and then involve in the test instance for testing and all. And once patches are applied, how it is impacting, we will verify. We'll ask the business user to check whether that issue is resolved or not. And we'll have a review meetings among the team with the client. We can have a meetings, and among the support team, you can have a meetings to discuss about the tickets and to understand what are the issues are open, what are the issues are closed, and what are the issues we are working. Okay. And sometimes if any custom report development and all, as a consultant, support consultant, I involved in that. Any additional setup, say business is asking to create one bank account, business is asking to create supplier, business is asking to create customer, I create. Sometimes we create, sometimes the supplier creation, business bank accounts creation, or customer creation can be done by our client team also, means end users also can create. Sometimes they'll ask us. So as a very routine work every month, and I involve in the period closing activities. Sometimes the client team also will involve. Mostly we are the responsible people to close the periods. So this is how you have to explain. This is how you have to explain.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
there was one interview which I attended. They asked me the question, which was the challenge incident which has been resolved?
So voice is not clear. Don't mind. Can you make it clear? Oh, can you?
Is I audible now?
Yeah, I think now it's fine. Please, what is your question?
Question was, which was the challenge incident which you resolved, and how you resolved? That was the question.
See, challenge. So frankly speaking, challenges will become when we are not able to resolve. That you can say like any issue you can take like that which was not in our control and which is resolved by Oracle because that became bug with some patch application and all. You take any example, everyone should agree for that. If you ask me a simple question, okay, what was your challenge? I can say like the user is not able to create accounting, that is a period ending time, and no accounting is happening. I verified everything is fine, and Oracle, we contact Oracle, they supported. They suggested to run so and so validation program, and we did this and that. Still, it is not working. Oracle suggested patch, we applied. Still, it is not working. Situation was very serious. The payables team, the manager was shouting, and they escalated that issue. Okay, escalation means giving the complaint. Okay, we can escalate. Say we raise one SR to Oracle with a severity 1. And they are not resolving, they are taking time. We can escalate to their support consultants manager. Okay, when we escalate, then the manager and other people also will come into the picture. They will be meeting. The same way, when users are raising the tickets in the remedy or clarified tool, say we are supposed to resolve in the 2 days, but that is not resolved. They can escalate to our project manager. Okay, there will be discussion, there will be explanation why we are not able to resolve. This is many scenarios we come across. So many scenarios you cannot resolve the tickets with a timeline. So those you can say like those are the challenges. With respect to implementation and all, you can say challenges are nothing but understanding the business, collecting their business data, because users are not that much interested to support this. They are finding it as a new system. It's totally different process and all. They are not very much interested. It became all the time going and meeting and requesting to provide the data, what are the information we require to load into Fusion applications as a data conversions. And whenever we ask for the time for meeting, they are not showing that much interest. And apart from that, some reports and etc., some gaps, which is possible we can do that, which is not possible anyway, we cannot do that. So this is what we have to explain. Okay, so requirement gathering and the solution design, collecting the data from the business. And you can say another challenge is conducting the training for the business users. You may conduct the training business, and you can say like when we are conducting the training to the business users are saying it's a very lengthy process in our current system. Creating invoice is just 3-4 fields we enter. Invoice will be created, a voucher will be created. What nonsense you are showing in the Fusion? Going to so and so navigation and entering header information, line information, distribution, validation, accounting, this and that. We don't like it. So when they are saying they don't like it, we cannot do anything. The management took the decision to implement this Fusion application, but business users who are not showing the interest to understand this and to use it, it was the situation where we have to force it. If they don't attend the training, we cannot take the sign off from them. Taking the approval from the business users where they are comfortable with the system became big challenge. So these are the points. Okay, these are the points which you have to address.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just one of the interview asked me, like a SLA rule. What do you know SLA rule? So SLA rule means regarding the service level agreement, or it is sub-ledger accounting?
You
I'm
have to
just
ask that
confused.
question.
Yeah, I'm just confused. I just
See,
blank on that.
when we attend interviews, don't be ready to answer whatever you listen. If it is clear for you, okay. If it is clear for you, that is okay. You can answer. If it is not clear, you have to ask the questions. If you attend the interview, at least there should be scenarios. Minimum, if they ask 20 questions, there should be case definitely 2-3 questions you will ask them in written to understand, to get more clarity. So if you get the ticket from the business user without asking, you are trying to resolve that issues, yes, you can resolve. That is a bad scenario. Like you may not resolve that. So if that issue, whatever user raised, it is providing the clear information, you will be able to resolve. Otherwise, user raised one issue and I have to resolve. If you start working, there is no guarantee whether you have enough information or not. That's very important. When user is interviewer is asking, are you talking about? See, they may ask you, what do you mean by SLA? What answer you will give?
Yeah, that's why SLA rule they said that. So I'm just confused and I'm blank on that because I'm not
See,
able to.
here SLA rules, when you say SLA rules, that is directly pointing to sub-ledger accounting rules only, accounting rules, or else his point may be SLA rules means as per a service level agreement, what are the rules you have,
Yes.
what are the timelines you have. That could be the question, but you should not take the chance of understanding. You have to ask the question, such kind of scenarios. Okay. See, the question I'll ask you as an interviewer, I'm not able to create the accounting entries. Okay. What could be the reason? Now you tell me your answer.
Accounting entry.
Sorry?
It means not able to.
Create accounting entries. What should I do? That is my question.
So I can just check whether it's related to invoices, then it is invoices is validate or not. It's payment. Then it is posted.
Yeah, wait. Because we discussed about invoices. You are talking.
Yeah, even payment also.
You have to, one second.
Or not.
1 second. You have to ask. You are not able to create the accounting in which application?
Okay, APRGL like that.
This is payables or receivables or fixed assets. They'll answer. Okay, they said payables. In payables, you are not able to create the accounting for what? For invoice or payment or reconciled payments. This says invoices. Are you not able to create accounting entries for all the invoice or specific invoice? Specific invoice, they said. Okay. What that specific invoice is, they may say, I created on foreign currency invoice, only for that foreign currency invoice, I'm not able to create accounting. Now your question could be, the foreign currency invoice, you are not able to create accounting, that is only for one supplier, for other suppliers also foreign currency invoices, you are not able to create the accounting. This is how you have to drill down, depending on the scenario. Okay. So this is the point you have to understand. So certain questions you can answer directly. Okay, what is the accounting entry when you create the manual invoice? You can answer. Okay, so what is the accounting entry when I create a transaction in receivables? You have to ask which transaction you are referring. Are you talking about invoice transaction, debit memo transaction, or credit memo transaction, or chargeback transaction? Okay, if I create the transaction, the payables, what is the accounting entry? Meaningless. Like it's not like transactions, some account invoice type they have to say. Okay, prepayment accounting or debit memo accounting, credit memo or withholding tax invoice, accounting and all, etc. There should be clarity. Sometimes intentionally they'll ask the questions. Whether at least you are able to understand and ask the written question, or blindly you are ready to answer because our profile is so and so, they'll test. These are very important. I'll discuss when we talk about interview preparation. There I'll talk about many points. What are the tips you have to follow? So how you have to carefully manage with interviewers. Any other questions on this support project related process, please?
So the last question.
Support.
Yeah, the
Minimum, please.
last question, Lakshman, from my side. Interviewer asked me, it might be this is a very common question, but even I can answer. He is
Ask
not.
question, please.
Yeah,
Don't
okay.
say. Don't say all those. Okay, leave
Okay,
it.
okay.
Ask
Yeah,
question.
okay,
we'll
fine.
discuss.
The question is, what is the difference between instance and COA instance and COA structure? Why? What was the use of that? So even I can explain that it is a copy of the structured and it is used for future
Yeah.
same kind of rules,
Yeah.
same kind
Yes,
of
yes,
things.
yes, yes.
And even I can explain that it is for we have instant is help for the reporting and code set a code combination. But he's not.
Okay, fine. See, if I face that question, I'll answer like this. Okay. So as per what base we create the chart of accounts based on the reporting requirements. Okay. Simply, if that is a question, what is the difference between chart of account structure and a chart of account structure instance? So basically, we create the chart of account structure as per reporting requirements. So the chart of account structure, what we are creating as per reporting requirement, that we cannot use directly in the Fusion applications. If it is EBS, we can use, but in the Fusion, we cannot use. In the Fusion, if you want to use the same chart of account structure, you have to make a copy of the chart of account structure. The copy of chart of account structure only we call as an instance. So the instance only you can use at the time of primary ledger creation. Primary ledger creation, you can use the instance only. The controls and all you can set at instance level only. Say, allow dynamic combination creation allowed. Okay. So that then the other options, anything you can set the controls at instance level only, because instance we are using to create the transactions. So if you want to override the value sets, you can change the value sets at instance level. You can change at value chart of account structure level also. Those won't impact it to instance. Ultimately, Oracle is giving this instance concept because Oracle is using Hyperion and different products to implement the logic of the synchronization process across the Fusion applications, because Oracle is using the different products. The finance from Oracle, the remaining products are from different applications to establish the logic of synchronization, data travels, and mappings. For that purpose, in Fusion, Oracle introduced instance concept. So with one chart of account structure, you can create multiple instances, but one instance you have to use as one instance. One instance you cannot copy, structure you can copy and create multiple instances. Other than that, there is no great advantage of this instance. These are also not advantages. What we have, how we have to explain. That's all. Clear?
Yeah. Thank you so
The
much.
same what we discussed, what we have seen in the class only, I'm talking. That's all. You have to present it. Any other questions, please? Anyone?
Lakshman sir, so yeah, interviewer asked me saying that the difference between AR in EBS and AR in Fusion. I told that it is a difference is one is RDS.
1 second.
Okay, reference data set.
No, 1 second. First question is, do you know EBS financials?
Yes, sir, I know. Yeah, as a technical guy, I know.
Okay, you know. Then tell me, right? What is your answer?
So I told that only RDS difference I told, sir. Remaining all are same. That is what I told.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he gave an answer saying that interface.
Yes. Your answer is correct. The first point you can say, there is no big difference between EBS R12 receivables and Fusion receivables. In EBS, the complete application environment is form-based, and here completely web-based. In EBS, for receivables application, we don't have any kind of dashboards. If you go to transaction billing page, or receipt page, you can see kind of infolettes, boxes and all, where you can see information and how many batches are processed, how many are pending, how many unapplied receipts, how many transactions are pending, etc. You can see these kind of dashboards are not available in EBS. In Fusion, those dashboards are available. And in EBS, you don't have OTBA reports and BA reports for receivables application. But in the Fusion, we have those reports. Okay, the reporting capabilities, BA reports and OTBA reports are available in the Fusion for receivables application. And that's what you can take as a primary points. And again, in EBS, if you want to do the receivables to GL reconciliation, we don't have such kind of process, which we have seen in the receivables. We did receivables to GL reconciliation, right? Where you can run the process, it will fetch the data. When you run the receivables to GL ledger reconciliation, it will show if any variance is there between the receivables and GL. So those points, these points you can highlight. Okay, these points you can highlight as a difference. Yep.
No, sir. Main difference he was looking, that is still I didn't get any answer for that for him. But the interface clearance, how you will, if there are any
Okay, interface clearance. Okay, I got the point. See, in EBS, like if you are importing any data into receivables, there also you can have access to interface tables through form. But here you have seen. So we can go to spreadsheet. Okay, spreadsheet. ADFDI, through ADFDI spreadsheet, you can fetch the interface data and you can do the modifications. From there, you can resubmit that process. Apart from that, if you compare with EBS, even in receivables, you can create the receipt batch from spreadsheet, which is not possible in the EBS. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So any other questions?
Sir, regarding the instance, I'm unable to access it, sir, through FA user.
I'll share other one. Okay, that I think that is not working. After session, I'll share another instance which is stabilized.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. So better you can send me test mail. Okay, send me test mail. Some whatever I shared, one is working, one is not working. Not sure which you are referring. If you're not able to access, just send me email and I'll revert to that with the instance details.
Yeah, Lakshman, regarding the same, I sent mail last week. The development one instance is not working.
If you don't mind, can you send me once again after this session? I'll send immediately.
Yeah, sure, I'll get.
Please. Thank you. Any other questions? Related to implementation process and the support process. Any questions, please? The documentation part we'll discuss in tomorrow's session. Apart from documentation,
hello,
these two processes, please.
hello. Hi, sir. I have one doubt.
Please.
So, sir, is this any possible to restrict the business unit and user level?
Sorry?
Is this possible to restrict the business unit, sir? So, under the primary ledger, we have multiple business units, right? So, is there any possible to restrict the business unit?
Is there any possibility to
restrict the business unit level?
Restricting?
Yeah.
For what purpose? Where?
So, as a user, sir, so one user can use, can modify the.
Wait. Say, if you assign one BU, the user will have access to one BU. Say, for example, payables. For payables, you assign one user is working as a, one user is working in the payables department. You assign accounts payables supervisor role to that user. And you have a total 10 BUs within your enterprise structure. That user is working for only one BU. For accounts payable supervisor role, you assign only one BU by using the data access for users. That's how you can give the access. Automatically, other BUs that user doesn't get access. In our environment, what we are using for training, to the same user, we assigned application implementation consultant role. That is the reason other BUs also you are able to see. You create separate user and assign one single role, assign one BU, that user will be able to access that BU. That's how it works. You can test it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I got it. That answer.
Yeah. It's not like restricting, it's just whatever access you give, that only that user will get, automatically rest all will be restricted.
Yeah,
Yep. Any other questions?
no questions from my side.
Yeah, fine, okay, great. Any questions from others? Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, adding on the same thing, there is a CVR concept also, right?
CVR,
Then-
cross
yeah.
validation rules.
Yeah,
Yes.
so means we here also there is a code combination, means there's a we can restrict, right, to user to
Okay. CVR for account code combinations, not for
yeah.
units.
Okay, so specific expenditure we need to book in specific bucket, though that's why we are this kind of
Yes.
restrictions are there,
Certain
right?
code combinations.
Yeah,
Say
okay,
you-
yeah,
You have access to BU1. For BU1, you are using the balance and segment values 1000. For the 1000, you don't want to record the transaction with the so and so department or so and so account. That's how you can use that CVR. CVR
yes,
you can
yes.
use in any application.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that is the point. Any other questions? So any questions from anyone, please? No questions. If no questions, we can wind up for today. We'll connect tomorrow same time. Okay, we'll connect sharp 7 o'clock. We'll run the session from 7 to 10 o'clock. Okay, we'll talk about documentation and other points also we'll discuss. If time permits, we can discuss about interview preparation in the tomorrow session, or else the next session we can plan for that.
Okay, sir.
Is it
Sir,
no-
I sent you an email. Okay,
Okay, sure. I'll check and I'll.
thank,
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions, please? Okay, no.
Lakshman, just
Yeah,
last,
please.
sorry. Actually, one interviewer asked me, this silly, but I'm not exactly answer this. How
Why do you
can-
give the explanation? I don't
Okay,
understand.
yeah, okay,
Ask
fine,
any
fine.
question, ask me. Just I'm open. I'm not asking
Okay.
why are you asking these questions. If I'm
Okay,
asking
fine,
like
fine.
that, you can give the explanation before you ask.
Yeah,
Any
okay,
question,
fine. So,
I'm open.
okay.
Please ask me.
Okay,
For you, I am ready to answer.
interviewer asked me how you can communicate regarding the payment, okay, with bank for processing the payment. So I said that I can, it's not, we need no need to communicate with bank because we have already.
No, one second. Let me answer. You can compare your answer with that. So if it is a check payments and all, okay, we'll make the payments and the checks we will issue to the suppliers and they'll submit, and you can create one file, okay. You can create one file that you can call as a positive pay file. If you want to create, you can create, otherwise not required. You can create the positive pay file. You can run the report. Okay, in the schedule process, you can run positive pay file. That means for which suppliers with which check numbers you given the payment, that information you can send to the suppliers bank, so that if any check is coming to the bank within those check numbers, those checks only banker will clear. Ideally that you can do. Otherwise, as you mentioned, you no need to communicate. You make the payment and what are the checks will come to the bank, banker will clear. If you think fraud happens in the company, you can create one positive pay file. Okay, one positive pay file report. And in that report, you can send to the bank, which states, so only these 20 payments are issued to my suppliers. If any payments, any checks are coming to you, if those check numbers are within these 20 checks, then only issue the payment, otherwise don't clear the payment. That's how you can send instruction. In case of electronic, how we communicate? Banker will provide some instrument. Our technical people, what they do is whenever we make the payment, the payment file will be generated that would be located in that instrument. Banker can access that instrument. As per that file, they will disperse the funds to the supplier accounts in case of electronic process. This is what we have to explain.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'm explaining the PPR process for that. I thought he's asking like this. So how
Okay,
you
okay.
make the payment and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. Okay.
That's how you can communicate. Yeah, see, there should be one channel. Generally, what banks will do is if they want to get some instructions from companies as a to process a payment to so and so suppliers and so and so invoices, they'll provide an instrument. Instrument in the sense they'll give some access to some their bank related portal or for some path and all that our technical people will map into our instance. In our instance, they'll map it. So they will say like they will do the mapping whenever you make the payment, the file which will be, we have seen the file, right? We made the payment and we went to schedule process page and the payment file is generated that we open and we have seen the check format, right? That's how the technical people,
Yes.
the file format as per the requirement, how the bank is expecting the technical people will do. We have seen the payment format modification also. Like we just we went to one page format space. From there, we check format, we downloaded. In the same way, EFT file formats or in any other formats, technical people download and they'll modify as per the requirement. So that files they map with the bank system. So whenever you make the payment, automatically the file will go to sit in that system that can be accessed by bank by seeing that information that they'll take as a instruction from our side to disperse the funds to our supplier accounts, etc. So that's how they can take the action. This is what we have to understand. Fine. If any other questions, let me know, or else we can wind up and we'll connect tomorrow.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, implementation process you explained, right? So did you share that recorded video on that?
Yes. Recording video already placed in our batch videos. You can check in the Google Drive.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, that is there. Later, I'll share this sheet also. Real time related what we are discussing. This sheet also I'll share.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do that. Fine. Any other questions? Okay, no questions. We'll connect tomorrow, same time. Thank you all.